Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Every time we talk with her, we learn so much more and learn what is out there that we can use in place of medicine and some of the chemicals really that we put on our body. We should be using things that are organic and safe for us and our family. And we're going to learn about more today. Pain management. Thanks to the woods. Pretty much so. She's a master herbalist and she owns a great company called Oyate Herbals. And she's Tammie Lowell. And she's back with us. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing good, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. Now, so far, we've talked about some of the different sprays that you have. I always have them on standby, like within arm's reach. This is stress relief aromatherapy spray. You've got I have a Palo Santo one, a sage spray. We've talked about those. You have a line of sunscreens, body scrubs, which we're going to get to. But the pain sobs you have when people are dealing with different types of pain, I wasn't even aware you even had that. So let's go there. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Yeah. I actually developed this pain salve many years ago. When my mother, of course, was being an herbalist and got me into all of this, and then of course my aunties and everything. One of the main herbs that I really was drawn to is an herb called comfrey. So comfrey has a nickname. It's called bone knit or knit bone, depending on what part of the country you come from. The FDA actually tried to ban this herb because it works so well. So what comfrey does is comfrey stimulates new cell growth and it speeds up the healing process. Matter of fact, it works so good that if you have like a very deep cut, you can't use it until the middle of the cut. I'm trying to use layman's terms instead of these big words. Adheres together because it'll heal so fast from the top down that it'll actually leave a bump. So it works great for all of that. But for pain, it has a numbing effect and it goes so deep, it'll go directly into the bone, just like its nickname, bone knit. I've seen it heal bruised bones. I've seen it speed up, like I said, the healing process. I actually have 3 people who came to me that had torn rotator cuffs. They were fairly recent injuries. The oldest was 5 months old. And they were totally, they couldn't even lift. The one lady couldn't even lift her arm. It was so bad. They were looking at surgery. They did not want to go through surgery. So they came to me for an alternative. Sure enough, I had him use this salve and it stimulated enough cell growth. Of course, we immobilized it. We had him ice and hot packs, do everything that what a physical therapist would do, except for they applied this salve 3 to 4 times a day for 6 weeks. And all 3 of them were able to heal. It was able to heal and it kept them out of surgery.
Can't believe we're talking about this because on my list of things to do today, it's called the insurance company to get a referral for an MRI because the place that does the MRIs won't do it without a referral. And right. I've had over the last few months pain in my shoulder, like basically right here, only when I move my arm in a certain way, like this, like right there, I can feel it,
Right.
And it's not, horrible, but it's like, oh yeah. And I don't even realize it works fine. I feel a little bit of pain, but like if you're reaching back in the back seat to get something in your car, it's like those weirder movements. I think I might've had bursitis brought on by a medication about 7 years ago. And I got a cortisone shot.
Probably is correct. Yes.
And I'm wondering if this is, it came back possibly, but it's just right here. Now I'm thinking I can feel it. Like,
right.
It's not like deep in the shoulder. I can feel it right here. Like right there. And it's just kind of annoying. Using your salve, potentially that could alleviate the pain.
Oh, absolutely. And it doesn't just have comfrey in it. It also has arnica, which a lot of people are familiar with arnica. Arnica is a wonderful pain reliever. It also is an anti-inflammatory, just like comfrey is. Comfrey has anti-inflammatory properties. It also has calendula, which also helps with inflammation. And it has 100 milligrams of Rick Simpson oil, which is CBD. So you have 4 different anti-inflammatories.
Wow.
You have different essential oils like wintergreen and camphor and anything to really open up those pores. So all of that goes very deep into the muscle and into the bones. I literally have elderly women who show up. If I don't show up at farmers market with my pain salves every Friday in Woodland Park, I'm in deep trouble because these women,
They're
they
going to
swear
find
by
you.
it. Oh, they will find me. They will find me. They sometimes, and especially, through the winter, they'll buy 4 jars to get them through because it's really what is only keeping them stabilized and moving in their older years because they've had hip replacements, they've had knee surgeries or shoulder replacements or things like this. And it works wonders. It keeps them moving. It keeps them walking. I've seen it take somebody that has diabetic inflammation down in their legs so bad to where they had diabetic ulcer sores because it just was so swollen that inflammation has nowhere to go, so that it starts seeping out of your legs. Within 3 weeks after this salve, the inflammation was down enough the lady was able to walk up the stairs again. Within 6 weeks, she was back to work.
If I could at this moment, I would pivot over to this computer and order, because
Right?
it sounds like mine is not like a, serious situation. It's just very, bothersome at times. But even more so bothersome is have to go for the MRI, get the referral first, then get the MRI. Then they're probably going to say physical therapy. So now I got to schedule that. And, okay, great. But my gut tells me what you have can work, especially
Oh, absolutely.
mentioning the CBD part of it. There's a reason nowadays, many places, when you go for a better massage or spa experience, they give you the option if the oil that they put on you, if you want it infused with CBD. Of course, they charge you like $10 extra or whatever. But there's a reason. There's a reason people keep coming back to you. They wouldn't if it didn't work. It's just they
Oh, yeah,
wouldn't.
absolutely. And I am down that same road. I have several different massage therapists that come to me and have me make their massage oil, and they have it with and without CBD. And I use jojoba oil with the comfrey in it. So that way they've got that comfrey in an oil. I actually sell it's basically the salve in a bottle for a massage oil for these people. And they love it. I mean, they can't believe it. It helps enhance their massage. So it's the same ingredients, just without the beeswax to make it hard. And
Gotcha.
these massage therapists are using this on a regular basis. All over Colorado. So comfrey is a wonderful herb. It's a go-to. It's also inside of all of my lotions. So if you buy my lotions, that's why it works so well. It stimulates that cell growth, so that way we're going to heal your hands, not just moisturize them. So that way you don't need lotion as often. Comfrey is such an amazing herb. I have seen it do so many wonderful things for people.
What's your recommendation if somebody has some shoulder pain, leg pain, whatever it is? You said it before, how often you use it, and for typically how long? How long could be till further notice, but based on what you said before, and everybody's different, on average, where somebody starts recognizing, I am feeling better after X amount of days or whatever.
Right. So what I do is I recommend for anybody who has any major injury or extreme pain, I want them to use this. And you don't have to use a lot. Some people think you got to really slather this on. You don't. Just a light, good, even coat 3 to 4 times a day, depending on your pain level, for 2 weeks. That 14 days is that telltale little sign of getting that comfrey boosted to its maximum potential. Usually takes 2 weeks for herbs to even think about building up. And that's the same with the topicals. So when we're using that topical, I want you to use it 3 to 4 times a day. Then after that, kind of just as needed, and see how it works. I have some ladies that they know exactly how long a jar is going to last them. Those older ladies,
Wow.
that are in their 80s, they know one jar is going to last me a month. I got one lady down, she buys them in 4 jars at a time. And she knows exactly how long it's going to last her. I know when I'll see her. I know when she'll call me, and she swears by it. She will not use anything else. And this woman is I believe she's turning 87, if I'm correct. And she gets out. She still walks her dog. She still does all of this, even though she has severe rheumatoid arthritis. But she still, she still gets out. She still does her thing. She's had hip replacements, but it's what's keeping her going. And that's what's keeping her young. Is getting out and
Wow.
moving. Yeah.
What's it called? If we went to your website, share your website address again. And what do we look for when we go there for this?
Okay. So the website address is oyateherbals.com, which is OYATEHERBALS.com. And if you go into the main page, if you just hit shop now, it'll take you to my Comfort Mountain page, which I actually named my product line Comfort Mountain after Comfrey. Yeah,
I had a
Comfrey.
feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
With
So
comfort,
most of my
using the product with Comfrey can make you feel comfy.
yes, exactly. So if you go to it, it's right there. It's the first thing you're going to come to. You're going to look for the extra strength pain relief. And it does come, a lot of people, we still have our people that are very, very, reluctant with CBD just because they don't understand it. I do have it without CBD. So the extra strength pain salve is $30 for a 2-ounce jar. That's the one that I recommend for the extreme pain, or post-surgery, things like this, anything that's going to be injury. If you've got a recent injury, yeah, it's going to help. You have to have something that's together for this Comfrey to actually work. So if you have a torn ligament or a torn tendon without complete separation, boom, that's going to be your go-to. If you have a complete separation, I'm not a miracle worker. We can't magically make it jump and reconnect. So go to see a surgeon, get it fixed, then come talk to me, because then we're going to help stimulate that cell growth and get it healed faster. I have physical therapists that they're like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, we're using this salve, and they're like, well, whatever you're doing, don't stop, because this is really, really working. It's also in my healing salve, is good for the cuts, scrapes, sunburn, bug bites. I have a guy that actually took a grinder across his knee, had to have 8 stitches. And he called me and I said, okay, here's the deal, Sheldon. I said, you have to wait at least 3 or 4 days. So the inside of that's going to start, starting to adhere together. But when he did, he calls me in 6 days and he's like, okay, is this supposed to look like this? And he sends me a picture of the stitches. It had healed so fast that it started pushing the stitches up. The body was rejecting that foreign object.
Wow.
And he went in and they cut him out. Those stitches weren't supposed to come out for 9 days, but it healed so fast they came out in 6.
Here we go again. A week and 3 days, I was taking a shortcut, went through a fence. There was an opening in the fence, so I just pulled it down, had others that went through. I live near a concert venue, so we were taking the shortcut to go to the venue, a bunch of people.
Right.
We're coming back, it's late at night. I hold the fence down. Everybody goes through, then I go through. I wasn't thinking it was late, let the fence go up and cut myself here. Very, very minor, but all I can tell you is it started looking like it was getting infected or something was going on. I went for a tetanus shot the following day, but I had still residual pain here. And I don't know why. It's just a cut. But I would have to say, based on what you're telling me, probably 2 days, that would all go away. I wanted to play tennis with my daughter. I said, I can't play because it just, this hurts over here. This is like miracle stuff.
And that healing salve has the Comfrey in it. Excuse me. It also has mullein, which is very good for the skin, we've talked about mullein in the past because it's also good for upper respiratory. But topically, it's amazing to help heal wounds as well. It also has the calendula in it, but I also put aloe vera and tea tree. So your tea tree is your antimicrobial. So I tell everybody, if you've got kids, you want to have that. This is a staple to have in your medicine cabinet because you can take it out, put it on. You don't have to worry about the cut getting infected. It's gonna numb because Comfrey has that numbing effect almost instantly. So you get rid of the pain for the kids instead of something that's going to sting and make this little one cry and make matters worse. It actually helps numb it. And then you have all of the healing properties to help speed it up. It also reduces scars, so you don't have scars.
Wow.
Yeah, Comfrey reduces scars. So does mullein and calendula.
And I've had surgery before, got from a cosmetic surgeon. It was, things minor skin cancer here and there,
Right.
and gave me something, had to pay for it, something to minimize scars. So there, what you're talking about, there's other stuff in there that's going to be beneficial
Yeah,
in those
absolutely.
situations. Wow.
Yeah, and my healing salve is $20 for a 2-ounce jar, and it'll last you for so long. It's got a
Right.
3 to a 4-year shelf life. Grab it, put it in your medicine cabinet because they work. They work good. I use it all the time
What
on
about
different.
for somebody who, let's say, has arthritis, a little bit of touch of arthritis in their hands, maybe carpal tunnel, things like that? Works for that.
Pain salve. Yep, pain salve. I actually this side of my hand, I don't know if you can see how it's puffy.
A
It
little bit.
used to puff up like this. As a 911 dispatcher, what was my I'm semi-retired. I typed. I would type 180 words a minute. I was very fast, but it also tore up my hands.
Yeah.
That pain salve is amazing. I don't have any inflammation. I've got a pinched sciatic nerve from sitting in that chair for 12 hours a day. It's the only thing that helped heal it. So a lot of these things I developed because I couldn't find anything on the market that helped me. So, that research and development, it's been all of my products we put out there. I test it, I perfect it, I figure out what works, what doesn't work, the right menstruations and how to infuse all of these herbs in the jojoba oils that I use to make these salves. So you've got to know what you're doing, but it takes time to get that right balance and the right formulas. And once you do, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this pain salve is it's amazed me. I can't say enough about it, just because my clients just blow me away with all the stuff all the time on how well and the different versatilities that they've used it on.
And I was just going to go there in terms of your background. It's not, you're not some kooky lady pulling weeds in the backyard. You're a master herbalist with years of experience, certifications, and it's your heritage as a Native American. We have a little bit of time left, and I also want to talk about how you support other companies like yours, smaller owned companies. Before we get there, I'm going to rattle off a bunch of different challenges that people have. And can you tell me if you have something that works for that?
Sure.
So, okay. Urinary tract infections, really common. People, I hear about it, people, that is issues with it. Do you have something for that?
I do. I actually have a bladder assistance tincture that is for UTIs and possibly for elderly that are starting to become incontinent.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
it kind of has a different, it can go one way and it can go another. So I have 2 of them actually. Mhm.
Okay. What about guys, prostate, enlarged prostate? You talk about, elderly guys get a little bit older, have issues with that. What would that be?
Actually, we had talked about the supporting other indigenous companies.
Okay.
I recommend a tea from Rod from Oyate Herbals. So, and it's called, I love his teas because of course he's Native American. This is called TPT.
Okay. Hey, read it
Yes.
any way you want.
Yeah, TPT. And it supports prostate health. I actually have 4 guys that have used it and are off their prostate meds, and they don't have to have that urge to go to the bathroom all the time, because that's one of the biggest things is you're up all night long going to the bathroom.
For sure.
Yeah, and it works really, really well. So yes, I do.
Just don't drink the tea before you go to bed.
No, I recommend you take it at about 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Usually in the morning, and then around 5 o'clock. Then after that, because then you're gonna have to get up and go to the bathroom anyway. Because
Anybody would.
Yeah.
Interesting. Tell us about those other organizations that you support. He being one of them, the tea guy. And what's the name of his company?
It's called Nuwati, and it's spelled Nuwati, Nuwati Herbals. And Rod Jackson is the gentleman. He has been the founder. He founded it in 2002. And he actually carries 19 different medicinal teas, which are specifically targeted, just like the TPT. He has one. How I met him is I had a very bad upper respiratory infection. I was at a show, and a good friend of mine, I was using my lung tinctures, I was using different things, and it was working. And she's like, you know, I've tried that, I've got this tea. And I said, I've heard about them because I have some dear friends that work down at IIA, which is the American Indian Art Institute down in New Mexico. She's like, I picked this up there. And I went, I'll try it. This is some good stuff. Come to find out a year later, I mean, it worked very well. It helped enhance what I was doing. I was at the Denver March powwow and I ran into him and I got to meet them. And when I started seeing his line and his ingredients and actually talking with this man, he's very much just the male form of me. And boy, let me tell you, to be able to have his teas, I seriously bow down to them. I mean, I can do herbal teas and blends, but he's really mastered it. And his blends are so balanced. You can literally take a sip and go, ooh, that has a hibiscus. Ooh, that also has cinnamon. And you can really taste the balance of all of these medicinal herbs, the way he does it. And I'm just, I let him, he's got the market. He can have it.
Wow. And that's, when it comes to me and teas, I'm trying to get into them, but I often find, the flavor's kind of boring. Sounds like this has something going on there, and it has benefits to help you.
Right. And in my Lake City store, I actually feature a tea of the week. So that way everybody can come in, they get free samples this week, and I'll just show it to you. This is what I've been doing with his tea. This is called Wild Horse tea. And this actually supports fluid detoxing. This is also a tea that I recommend for people that have gout.
Wow.
Gout is very common, but it has dandelion in it. And I mean, you can go out and you can get dandelion tea and it will help cut that uric acid. I mean, that's what causes gout. Also I'd recommend stay away from soda and beers and things like that, alcohol, that all causes uric acid. Bottom line, uric acid is what causes gout. So if you can cut the uric acid in your system, guess what? It's going to clear that up really quickly.
Wow. Learning so much here. We'll be back. We have more to talk about, but the pain salves, just amazing. And I think, we're just about out of time here. So again, right. the website, spell it again.
OYATEHERBALS.com. Yeah, and it's pronounced Oyate, which you pronounce it wonderful, which Oyate means my family, my tribe. That's who brought me to this place. It's not just your blood family. It's those people that are there for you. That's that extended family, that heart family. And that's why I named my business that, Oyate.
Love it. I'm a big fan. I've made my purchases. The stuff I've got more over there, right behind it. I already know where it is. Like it's always within, I can reach over the camera here and grab one over there.
Right.
But the stuff's amazing.
I appreciate your support so much.
Because it's real, it's organic. I've gone down the road before we met of buying stuff and I don't even know what's in there. Is this the real deal? Yours is organic. It is the real deal. And now with the pain salve, you think I'm kidding you? As soon as we're done here in just a moment, I am going online and getting that stuff because
you're going to love it.
I can't wait, honestly, because I don't feel like going from an MRI and again, it's not like a major situation. And we should say too, if you're dealing with something that is potentially a major challenge, consult with your doctor, all of that before you go down the herbal road.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you can give me a call, even if you've got the major situation, but I'm going to tell you, consult with your physician. I mean, you always should. If you're pregnant, nursing, taking other medications, any of this, you have to be comfortable doing that. I help people get off of pain meds and, and different things like that. But if, the first thing I look at them and tell them, okay, this is what I would replace this with, but you have got to go to your doctor, figure out what the taper is going to be, then I'll step in. But until you do, then I really need to have that behind me.
Love it. Yeah. Tammie, always great talking with you. Again, learned so much, had no idea. And I think you mentioned pain salves before.
Right.
I'm glad we went there because now I truly have, and the rest of us, a better understanding. This stuff has been used for literally centuries, since the
Oh,
beginning
yeah.
of humans. This is
Yeah.
what was used, and there's a
Oh,
reason
yeah.
it's
I mean,
still
you
being
can
used.
date back herbal teas back to 4,000 years ago. I mean, just use it, the Shang Dynasty is, I mean, use teas. I mean, you're talking 4,000 years ago. They were using this stuff. I mean, there actually is, even before, back in, I think it was I'm trying to think, like 2700 BC, something like that. That they actually, and it was China, but it was showing that there's
Sure.
history dated back to that. That all of these medicines come from plants. It's synthetic now. They're synthetically making it, but it's still, the base of that came from a plant.
Came from a plant. Yeah.
It
And
came
in
from a
fact,
plant.
traditional, call it pharmaceutical medication, before it was
Yeah.
we had the technology to really make it synthetic and easier, more
Right.
easily made. It was coming from plants anyway. So, like,
Right.
let's go back to that. Listen, I gotta go. I need to place
Okay.
an order, and we'll talk next time we get together.
Okay, sounds good, Steve. You have a beautiful day,
You too.
and everybody come on over and get your stuff that you need.
Have a pain-free day. Thanks, Tammie.
Yes.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.